Welcome to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today, I have another special guest. My guest today is Leslie Winston, who played Ben's wife, Cindy, for the last 3 seasons of the Waltons and then several of the reunion TV movies. Very excited to have Leslie here with me today. Please welcome her. Welcome to Leslie Winston, who played Ben's wife, Cindy Walton. I was looking at this, and you did 42 episodes over seasons 7, 8, and 9, and then you did 4 of the reunion movies. So you were with us for a wonderfully long time.
It was just some of the best time of my life, I have to tell you. It's a dream come true. Loved all of you guys so much right from the beginning. It was such a great time together, fun. Everybody took their jobs really seriously, which was really great. Even though we like to say how much we loved each other and got along and had fun. I mean, when we were on set, I think everybody to a T took their roles very seriously. You know, nobody was phoning it in. We all really cared that we gave it our very best, which made it even more fun because then you're really working, with great talent.
Yeah, we were very lucky. You never got to work with Richard. Maybe in
the
last reunion movies you did.
Yeah.
But Michael did. She was there for some of it, and Ellen was there for some of it.
Yes, Ellen was there even right for my very first show.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
She had opinions about Cindy.
Yes, she did.
She was real pretty, wasn't she, Ma? Oh boy,
she was great. She really, she added so much to everything she ever did. She's an icon. But for me, for my very first show, my introduction, I think she really gave the episode some gravitas, and that was thrilling for me. And I was thrilled to be working with her. I mean, right now I'm just seeing her in It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, grew up with her and as the character actress she was in so many wonderful black and white movies.
Right. And Grandma really set Cindy straight on how to handle it. Handing you that broom.
Oh my God. I think that's everybody's favorite. I mean, there's other favorite moments of my episodes that fans have shared, and I appreciate that so much. But in the end, it's all about that broom.
and let's face it, Ben did need that broom sometimes.
Oh, he still does, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We love him, but
the broom is always off to the side, lurking if need be.
Yeah. So what you mentioned that fans have some favorite things. What things do they bring up?
Well, one of the episodes that they really like, which is, I don't know, almost might be my favorite episode, is the episode with the horse where I had to shoot the horse. I thought that was a really rich episode. I really had to dig deep to do that, to tell you the truth. And I loved it as an actress, but it was pretty darn emotional and felt really real, and holding the gun and that I get a lot of feedback on that one. Oh, and another one that's really very sweet is they love the one with my mother, where I find out that I'm adopted, or all that whole history, the carousel. And people have a very sweet, visceral response to that as well. Now that we're talking about it, because you don't kind of review these things yourself that often. It's for the amount of time that I was able to be with you guys, I feel like I got some nice ranges of stuff. The romance with Ben, I think they as a couple were adorable. I think Eric and I had really great chemistry together. And some of the trials that we went through with the children and his service in the Navy. But then also, with my mom and, the horse, it just really makes you appreciate the writing.
Definitely.
It's really fantastic. It covered so much and was so touching. Yeah, I actually, in this moment, right at this moment in time, feel kind of emotional about the whole thing. It's it was a dream. It was a dream. It was really great.
Yeah.
And I also loved, they were a pain to a certain extent if they went too long, but I loved our group stuff. It was great to all be together for some of the family things, and of course the infamous dinner and breakfast scenes and stuff. Yeah.
Well, some things that come up regularly that let's touch on for people who haven't heard the answers. Talk about the red car.
The red car. Well, first of all, what a fabulous car. I mean, just so big, so gorgeous. I think it really worked for me because I'm small. So I think the incongruity of the picture, the visual, really, really added to the fun. It was, Cindy came from a wealthy family, and that was the bomb to have that convertible red car. Now, when I first started driving it, at the very beginning, I was driving it. And today, old cars are usually, they look like their old self on the outside, whether they're supposed to be shiny or dull, but their insides are new. They're modern. This red car was not that way. And I'm pretty sure the trucks were the same thing. So you've got the gear shifts. I mean, and they were temperamental. I was always sweating like a hog when I had to drive that thing. And the gear shift is really, really hard. And at one point, I almost hit a crew member. And everybody was really, really nice about it, and they laughed and stuff. But from then on, I was towed into the shops. I was not allowed to drive the car.
I wondered, because I know you had said that once, that you didn't drive the car and you were towed in. But then I would see an episode. There was one where I think you and Elizabeth went to Ike's store, and you could clearly see the car, the whole car, and it didn't go very far, but it sort of looked like you pulled up and just stopped in front of Ike's store. And I went, well,
right. It might have been before they. To be honest with you, I can't remember whether it was one and done when I almost hit the crew member. I mean, I just couldn't control the car.
So I thought perhaps a short distance like that, where you're 10 feet stopping the thing.
Exactly. There wasn't much to do. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for and it may have been the time that was a problem, it was a long approach shot. So I kind of had a lot to do, and the car is so big. It's really hard. And the front was so big that it was really hard to judge the distance. Do you know what I mean? To hit the mark.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, little snippets I could do. But it was hard for me to reach the pedals, you know.
Did they ever double you for something longer? Did they put somebody else in there? Or?
No,
Okay.
no,
So they
never.
just stopped showing any long approaches.
Right. I mean, I can see the crew members now just, you know, slowly pulling me in. And, you know, it might have been more in the sense of, like take this scene that you're talking about, me and Elizabeth coming to the store. There's, what do I want to say? Movement for error to a certain extent. And there's no people around that I can hit. I think it was the more finesse shots with the car that they didn't want me driving.
Yeah. Those were tricky for everyone with those vehicles because they didn't necessarily stop when you thought they'd stop. They no longer. I know David really struggled with that car of Jim Bob's, and
right,
you hit things now and then, or swerve off the road, or
exactly. So, and sometimes the gear shift would stick. You know, it was it was fun, but it was challenging at the same time.
Yeah. I know the big van of Kurt's that I ended up driving a lot.
Oh, yeah.
A real monster to drive. Just, it was.
Oh, I bet that was.
Strong and heavy and no power steer. And you just really had a lot of muscle to drive that.
Yeah, I know.
And so many blind spots because it was a paneled.
Yeah.
So there was nothing. You had no sight lines. So we're lucky I didn't have any incidents, and
Oh God.
So the car. Okay. And the other thing, the children. Of course, during the course of the series, Cindy and Ben had Virginia.
Yep.
She was around. And then she was around in the first 3 reunion movies. And I think, wasn't it in one of the first reunion movies when you had Charlie?
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay. And was Charlie around during those 3 as well? I mean, he was such an okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So Virginia was in a series, and then I think Charlie came either at the very end of the series or in one of the reunion shows. He just wasn't there that long.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to remember him. I don't think he ever got more than a baby, because I remember, the close-ups with the real baby, just like briefly, but mostly we used the doll. And I actually remember John Walmsley coming down the stairs to the kitchen with the doll, kind of twirling it around once just to make us laugh. Doing that old perfume commercial about, remember Charlie perfume?
Oh,
yeah, it was very cute. So, but then when, there was a pause to our reunion shows, the first one that we did, my storyline had to do with the loss of Virginia, but Charlie is never, ever mentioned again.
Right.
Never.
And I don't remember ever hearing what it was that had happened to Virginia. Did you? Was there?
No. There was never like a cause. It was just when we lost Virginia, which was how it was referred to. But there was no cause, unless I'm forgetting a moment, but I'm pretty sure not, because this has come up a lot when we've done our lovely travels for the show. There's just no mention of what happened to her exactly. And certainly people have been amused that Charlie just sort of disappeared and was never to be heard of again. So,
Yeah. I know Eric has spoken, and I have relayed this to our viewers, that, he asked about it, and
yeah,
more or less said, just don't cause trouble, and
right.
nobody will
Nobody
notice.
will notice. Yeah, that a whole baby is gone.
Yeah, and poor Virginia and John Curtis. John Curtis, I was thinking about this.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Just the other day, because he was in, likewise, the first 3 reunion movies. He was now probably around 7 or something like that, 7 or 8. But then not even a mention in the later reunion shows. I think one time I mentioned he was spending the holidays with his girlfriend or something.
Oh, yeah.
But then not even mentioned again. And we had time with John Curtis. He was born in season 6. So we had 4 seasons to get to know that child. And by the later season, certainly 8 and 9, when he was a toddler, as I've been watching episodes, he did some of the most adorable stuff they had, as did Virginia in some of those.
She was pretty darn cute.
Their ability to just, and I could tell sometimes these scenes were things that were just ad-libbed, and Tammy at one point was sitting there with Virginia, and they were at the kitchen table and they were making something. They were just chatting, and it was clearly all just ad-libbed stuff, and that they used as much as they wanted, but it was so stinking cute,
They really, Virginia was just like a little doll. Yeah. And John Curtis was a beautiful boy. Oh my God, that blonde hair.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous. Yeah. And both of them were so personable.
Yeah. Not to say that had the show continued, that as actors, because they were so young, that they would have developed into actors that could have been given actual dialogue.
Right.
Could have continued to be so unself-conscious. That's what was so fabulous about them, was that they were so
natural.
So, sometimes, I could see one of the twins that played John Curtis kind of looking around. I'm like, oh, there's cameras and there's people, and he's kind of looking at things, but you couldn't tell what he was looking at. So it wasn't, I noticed and go, oh, he's looking at something off camera.
But he looks just like a little boy or a little baby boy would be doing. They're always looking around at stuff, something's always catching their eye. Their attention spans are 0. So it looked natural.
Yeah. But so fabulous that they were able to get so many precious moments with those young toddlers.
Well, I think you with John Curtis and Eric and I with Virginia, we bonded with those little actors. We liked them and tried to cuddle them and, entertain them a little bit between takes, and, be thrilled, happy to see them when they came on set, tried to, make sure that there was a real relationship going.
Yeah.
And I know you had that with John Curtis, especially after 4 seasons.
Yeah. We switched infants. Like there was the infants when they were first born. And like you were saying, there was the dolls for, except for close-ups. And then there was a brief period of time where we had another sort of baby that we used for just a few episodes. I don't remember if that was season 6 or 7. And then Michael and Marshall Reed came in, and then they were consistent till the end of the series. And then David Friedman came in to do the reunion, the first set of reunion specials. So Thank you for joining me for this segment with Leslie Winston. I will be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons, more of your questions in an Ask Judy, and a little more with Leslie. Thanks for watching.